Welcome to the Edinburgh Commuter Challenge, brought to you by ESPC. Now here's your host, Nina Patel.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the premiere episode of the Edinburgh Commuter Challenge, brought to you by ESPC. Today we have 4 intrepid explorers ready to show us how easy it is to commute to Edinburgh Park from various areas in the city centre. They'll each be using different modes of transport to get to their various destinations within 30 minutes. Let's meet our contestants. First up, we have Kimberly, who'll be driving in her car to Portobello. Then Harvey will be taking the train to Bathgate, Ash will be on the tram to the city centre, and Paul, our avid runner, will be running to Murrayfield. Are you all ready for this challenge?
Yeah!
Great! Then let the race begin.
And off they go. So as Nina said, Paul is running to Murrayfield. And we've got Kimberly driving to Portobello. Ash is taking the tram to the city centre, and Harvey is taking the train to Bathgate. This is Ash just grabbing her ticket. Hopefully she manages to make payment before the tram pulls away. And Harvey's all set and ready to go off to Bathgate.
Not the most scenic, but the most direct and the flattest. Whew. I better stop talking. I'm out of breath.
Yes, Paul, you need to reserve some energy for your run. Paul is running alongside the tram tracks on his way to Murrayfield, but that's Ash's tram just overtaking him. Ash is taking the tram, which I think is probably the most straightforward route out of all of our commuters. That's Kimberly on the bypass now, heading towards Portobello. The Edinburgh City bypass is a great way to get around the outskirts of the city without having to go through the city centre. And that's Harvey on the train. Probably the most relaxing of all the transport at this point, but that's just because the train is quiet. However, it might be a different story at rush hour. But I think Paul is probably still pretty envious of Harvey right now, as he is well on his way to Murrayfield. Speaking of Murrayfield, that's where Ash is just passing through right now on the tram. Kimberly's hit her first bit of traffic. She's at the Sheriff Hall roundabout right now. That can be a bit of a sticky point if you're a regular commuter, but luckily she's not stuck there for too long. Harvey's still enjoying a relatively relaxing trip. So we'll leave our contestants for just now for them to carry on with their respective trips, and let's find out what it's like to buy property in each of their 4 destinations. Up first, here's the stats for Bathgate, which is where Harvey's heading on the train. Next, here's the key stats for Portobello, which is where Kimberly's heading in the car. Now here's the stats for the city centre, which is where Ash is heading on the tram. And of course the stats for Murrayfield, where Paul is heading on foot. Let's check back in to see how Paul's doing on his run.
Squirrels. Lovely. You're not going to see the squirrel if you're on the bus or the train. Then again, you're not going to be like this, out of breath.
Yes, Paul is quite right. You probably won't see any squirrels if you're taking the train, but you probably won't need a shower either once you get to work. That's Ash moving pretty swiftly through the city centre now, coming up past Shandwick Place. And that's Harvey actually almost at Bathgate, so he's had a pretty relaxing commute. Ash finishing up shortly behind him. And here he is. That's just 18 minutes, not bad timing. So Harvey's definitely managed his commute within the half-hour window. Ash is sneaking into second place. But can Kimberly beat Paul? Here's Paul just about at Murrayfield. You can see the stadium is within reach. And that's Ash now arrived at Picardy Place, just under that 20-minute mark. Kimberly's just passing Fort Kinnaird and heading through the Duel, while Paul is passing through the outskirts of Murrayfield.
We're nearly there. Literally light at the end of the tunnel. Whew.
Now this is the time when I'm sure Paul is glad that he's on his feet, because he's moving a lot quicker than the temporary traffic lights are letting the cars move. And here he is, sneaking into third place. It's Paul as he arrives at Murrayfield, tackling the rocky stairs, and he's done it. He's made it to Murrayfield in just under 26 minutes. And when we look over to Kimberly, she's having a slightly more relaxing commute. It's really taking out of her. She's travelling through Portobello just now and heading to her final destination, which is probably going to be just outside Portobello, heading to Joppa to get a nice view of the beach. And there she is, sneaking in under the 30-minute mark and finishing up our challenge in fourth place. It's Kimberly with her car to Portobello.
Thank you for joining us for this special premiere episode of the Edinburgh Commuter Challenge, brought to you by ESPC. We hope it's shown you how easy it can be to travel throughout Edinburgh and the surrounding areas. Until next time, keep exploring Edinburgh.